I'm outside Team Kerr's house. It is lashing down with rain. I'm just about to go in and do my first interview for the Inspirational Runner. Our guest this week is Team Kerr, so we should have a great story and something to look forward to. I'm interested just to know, like, sort of where did it all start for you guys? Like, have you always been running? When did it start? Can you remember your first race?
Yeah, it started with me, didn't it?
Yeah.
I started running first because I struggled a lot with my mental health. So that's what started my running journey off.
We can do things.
I got up to a half marathon,
Can I
and
tell you up?
then David and Aaron used to always come and watch me. And of course, the longer I was out there, waiting for longer, and they could just see how much pleasure I was getting out of my running, and they really wanted to run as well. But obviously, Aaron being in the chair, we thought, how can this happen?
Yeah.
Then you started to do the research, didn't you, about the running
Yeah,
chair?
well, there are chairs online, there are chairs available and things like this here, but it's finding the right chair was quite difficult, and we settled on a chair, we got a chair and we got over. And the first race that we did as a family, Sandy had signed herself up to do the Great South Run in Portsmouth, because Aaron's actually born in Portsmouth, and it was their 25th anniversary, and Sandy was going over to do it because she's from Bognor Regis, which is just down the road, and we were going to go over and support. And then the chair was due to come 2 or 3 weeks. It was coming from America. It was due to come 2 or 3 weeks after that, and we hadn't really given it much thought. We got word that the chair was going to be here early. We hadn't practiced. We hadn't been out. We hadn't run in the chair, anything, done anything with it. Didn't know how it was going to work. Didn't know how people were going to react to us. We sort of had it in the back of our mind that people might be sort of a bit funny with us. What are you doing? We can't have that here. You can't do this type thing. So we were a little bit nervous. But the chair, we found out it was coming a week or so early, and then it was a mad rush. Do we do the Great South Run? Because we were driving over to this is in Portsmouth on the south coast of England. We are over in Northern Ireland at the time, living. And anyway, cut a long story short, a lot of phone calls, a lot of inquiries, a lot of emails. We were on our way to England with the chair, and it's a 10-mile race. I don't know, Great South Run is a lovely run, flat run.
It's a busy run, isn't
It's
it?
a busy run. You've got probably about 18,000 at it. We were so wet behind the ears, we didn't know what we were doing. We hadn't a clue. Do we go at the start, at the middle? So we opted to sort of tag on at the end and see how we would go from there.
We asked the marshal, and he didn't know what to do with us.
Yeah,
So we just went to the back.
we just went to the back, and we sort of winged it. And we actually met up with a friend who Sandy, you met up with online, hadn't you? And
Yeah,
Sarah, and she sort of tagged along with us and made us feel a bit more comfortable. Sort of a friendly face is always good at any of these things, and it took us ages to creep forward to the start. As usual, big mass participation events, it took us ages to creep forward to get to the start line, and when we did and took off, it just felt great. The support we got that day for Aaron, it was just phenomenal. And it was the first time we sort of, I don't know how many years, we sort of threw off the shackles of disability, and we went round that course on such a high. People were shouting for Aaron and cheering, and we didn't think about disability once. Normally when we go anywhere, people can look and Aaron can be vocal, and it's not a problem because we're used to it, but it can put you off going out of the house sometimes. But that day it was just brilliant, wasn't it?
It was,
I think we drove from Portsmouth back to Holyhead. I think the car was about 3 feet off the ground the whole way back, because we were on such a high.
Brilliant.
So it was fantastic.
How long ago was that?
2014, yeah.
So it wasn't that long ago then?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that long ago. So, but it was phenomenal. It was just great. But I don't think even we realised at that stage. But it's funny because you mentioned earlier about Phoenix Park, and I think that was the first time that it dawned on us, because we're just a family. We're carers first, and parents, and then we do a bit of running, sometimes a bit of walking, but a bit of running as well. But we were in Phoenix, and we were coming through, and anybody who's done Dublin, as you know yourself, Phoenix is just packed.
Yeah.
It's packed, and obviously with the chair, we do have a little bit of space around us because people are very mindful, they're very, very considerate. But there's a lot of people around you, and we were coming through Phoenix, and generally when one of the pacer groups comes through, it's like a herd of cattle coming on top of us, and there was all the shouting and cheering and clapping, wasn't there?
We didn't know who they
we
were
didn't know,
cheering
and we
at.
were looking around to find out who it was. The only way we could equate it to was it was like we were in the middle of a football match, because it sounded like a crowd cheering at a match, and we were talking to one another, going, "Oh, who's that? Wonder what that's for. Wonder what that's for." And then we suddenly realised it was for Aaron, and we actually felt a bit embarrassed and a bit humbled, and it was. But we suddenly realised that, you know, this is great. Aaron's getting the recognition. This is what we wanted. This, you know, we want Aaron to be out and about and part of the society and that's we really felt like we sort of, I don't want to say made it because that sounds terrible, but we felt
found your place.
Part of it.
Yeah.
We were just one of the crowd, and Aaron was getting the recognition. And of course, he was lapping it up and high fiving and hugging everybody. Of course, you know. So which is the norm, which we've gotten used to, you know, over the years. So hugs are, as you can see, are part of the daily routine. Sometimes the hourly routine.
Has to be one of our favourite races, Dublin.
Yeah,
I think it's my favourite as well.
The
Yeah.
support we get down there, it's just incredible.
It is. Yeah.
It's a lovely run.
It was great, and then we were. Probably one of our proudest moments was that when we went back in 2016, and Aaron got the Lord Mayor's Medal.
Yeah.
And that meant so much to us because it is voted for by other runners, you know, and you're nominated for it, and you know you have no influence over it. You have no, you know, it's just people who've obviously seen you out and about or whatever, or maybe you have had, you know, they've gotten a little inspiration or something from us. And for Aaron to be out the front of the marathon and get that was just us as parents, you know. For as far as we were aware, anyway, it's the first person with learning disabilities to get the award, isn't it, Sandy? And it's just, we were just so proud that day, and it was our 25th marathon that day, so it just
in 2016, so that was your 25th marathon, and you were building up to half in 2014.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, we don't.
That's a different podcast altogether.
Yeah, probably is. Yeah. We do. It's funny when Aaron, one of his consultants, Aaron has quite a few consultants at the hospital, and one of the lines they use is that Aaron doesn't follow protocol, which is he sets his own protocols, and I think we probably do that as well. We don't follow the norm. If it feels right and we want to do it and we think we can do it, then we'll give it a go. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, well, at least we give it a go.
We've never been conventional.
No.
Never, have we?
No, don't think so. Anyway, definitely.
But I think that goes for everybody as well. I don't, like, you get conditioned in a certain way of being.
Yeah.
And it's actually, you have to find your own place and your own path. And it's
everyone's
very much
different, everyone's nutrition's different.
Everyone's personal circumstances are different, so what one person can do, somebody else may not be able to do, so, you know, and we've never really been very good at following advice anyway.
I think of it as, I call it the Cinderella syndrome. So people think this one shoe fits all.
Yeah.
And it's like walking into a shoe shop and they've only got size 10 in there. It'll fit some people, but that size 10 will be too big for some, it'll be too tight for others, and just won't fit some people at all, you know?
Yeah.
So it's very important for yourself just to find out what works for yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, we run it, we've obviously got different paces, you know.
It can be difficult.
That's very diplomatic, Sandy.
Is there a slight competitiveness there at all?
No, not between us. Not between us at all. And not really out on the course until we get to the final sort of 200 to 300 yards. I don't know what it is. Everybody wants to beat the wheelchair for some reason, you know. So then our equal competitive edge probably kicks in a bit, and we might have a bit of a sprint towards the finish line. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Nobody likes to get beaten by the wheelchair.
So what do you do for training then? Is it like for most of us then, running's quite simple. You put a pair of runners on and you might have an element of doubt or weakness. Will I go out? Will I not go out? So everybody has that.
Yeah.
But it's a bit more complicated for yourselves because you have to get the chair ready and all of that good stuff.
We don't follow any plan.
We've tried to, but Aaron dictates basically. Aaron's health dictates a lot of what we do. We can have, sleep the night before. It can be very sporadic. You know, even coming up to a marathon the day before. We've done marathons on a couple of hours sleep. But the training side of things, I don't want to say we would wing it, but it is as and when, as I say, dictates by Aaron's. You know, we've been on our way to do some training, and Aaron's had a seizure, an epileptic seizure, and we've had to turn around and come home, and maybe then we're out for a day or 2 days, so then everything gets bumped along. So it's very difficult for us to put plans in place in that respect. But we've always been of the mind that Aaron's disability won't dictate to us, what we do. We'll keep trying. We might just have to alternate and change and adapt, but we certainly won't let it stop us from doing anything.
For example, we might go out expecting to do 10 miles. If we do 3 miles, we just accept it's 3 miles. It just depends. So we don't get disappointed. We just do what we can do.
And sometimes finding a route can be difficult because, as you say, most people can just throw on the runners and head out the door and run. We have to think about curbs, gates, bollards. Unfortunately, potholes at the minute are a big issue. They're a big issue for us at the minute. If anybody's listening up the hill, big issue for us. If there is anybody on the hill, but that's a big issue for us. But all those sorts of things, and sometimes finding a distance, because everybody gets bored with their routes and one thing, and everyone's trying to find maybe a different route and things like this here. And we are restricted in that sense, and it's hard for us to maybe find the bigger miles without doing loops, and loops. And that's so. If you're doing an event, a looped course we quite like, and it can be good for us. But when you're training, it can be very boring. If there's nobody about, there's no other runners around, things like that, it can be quite boring. So to find sort of 10, 15, 20 mile routes that have no curbs, no gates, no posts, no potholes, all those things can be a challenge.
It's not just getting the miles in the legs. Obviously, we need to practice on hills. We like going different places. Got Divis, Stormont, all these hills.
Yeah, I often wonder some of the races I see at the starting line thinking, how the hell are they going to get these hills? So that's how.
We do get some very odd looks, at races and sort of offering very good of them. They do offer to help and stuff, and then they get on the chair and they realise how hard it is. And funny enough, they seem to go on quite quickly. But no, people are very good. They try to jump on, but we're very much we're very much of the case. We will. We're not reckless. Aaron's safety is number one priority for us, so we will check out a course before we will do it, and we've never taken on a course that the three of us can't do on our own. I mean, we do run, we would get a lot of people would ask to run with us. We've never ever asked anybody to run with us, although we've been seen and videoed and whatnot with a crew. These are people who are very welcome, and we love having them along, but we've never taken on a course that we couldn't do on our own, and we'd never do that. So we go along, we check out the courses beforehand, and we try and talk ourselves out of it, but then the madness kicks in again, and we'll just say, no, we can do this.
The first time we drove around Knocker, we said, there's no way we're doing this.
When we did it 2 days ago, so it's just you can talk yourselves out of things very easily, I think, but
it's a challenge.
We like a challenge. We like a challenge.
We like to mix it up a bit, don't we?
Definitely,
you talk about a challenge. So how many races did you do last year? Do you know?
That's Sandy's the stato for Team Kerr.
I don't know yearly. I know we've done, I think, about 106 races since we started, but I'm not sure how many in the year, because 1 month we took off, didn't we?
Yeah, we had last year. We had issues. The chair broke last year, so that put us off the road for about 5.5 months. But we were still out with Aaron's day chair. This chair
we cut the half
did a few half, but it's an incredibly difficult chair to push, and get any sort of distance up on. It's very taxing. So, but I think we've done 30 marathons in total, and there's whatever it is, 100 and something odd races.
About 106.
Yeah, so various distances.
So which one did you find the most challenging?
There's a few,
yeah. They're all challenging in different ways, I think, because we have like weather can be difficult for us because if it's rain, then we have to use rain covers and stuff for Aaron, and the wind can if it's rainy and windy, then it can affect the cover. It's like basically pushing a parachute down the road, which is quite difficult.
If there's potholes, there's a lot of moving around the potholes trying to avoid them. That could be difficult because if you're in a crowd, you can't always see what's straight in front of you.
But I think
so that can be difficult.
Yeah, I think if you're asking what probably sticks out in our mind the most, and sorry, Eamon, but it's Cookstown half.
Yeah, it nearly
broke Team Kerr because when we'd done a back-to-back marathon the week before, and we went down to Cookstown to do Eamon's race. We wanted to do it. Eamon's a friend of ours, and we really wanted to do Cookstown, but we were knackered before we started. To be totally honest, we hadn't recovered, but we went,
Mm.
it had been raining the day
There's
before.
quite a lot of oil and
And stuff, and
the
it's
ground, so
anyone
it's
who's done.
quite
Have you done Kickstone Half, Robert?
I've marshalled it. It's just hill after hill.
Yeah,
after
it's one of those
hill.
races that sort of starts and finishes at the same place, but always seems to go uphill.
Yeah.
there's no, you know, there's no coming down anywhere, it seems. But because it's slippy, as I say, going downhill that can sometimes be a little bit of an issue for us when it's slippy.
We had to keep going into the bank, didn't we?
Yeah, we
Just
had
slow
to
us
keep
down
going
a
into the
bit.
bank to slow us down on the hills, and we were actually sliding down
We
some
just
of the
couldn't
hills.
get any grip, could we?
But we got to the point where we were just sort of like,
I think we were about 5 miles in and we thought we don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But if we turn back, there's still hills that
if
way.
we turned back and we thought,
So just keep going.
it can't get any worse. And if we turn back, we've got to go down those hills we've come up. But it did get worse. But anyway, we finished it, and I think Eamon was.
He said he was pleased when
He
saw
was very
us.
pleased when he saw us coming round the corner, I think,
He
to
thought he'd broken
get over the
things
line. But
there.
that was a difficult one. But it wouldn't stop us from going back. I mean, it was
No.
just, I think it was just the circumstances of, say, we'd done the back-to-back marathons the week before, we were tired, and the weather, and
But
the
we
course.
didn't dislike it. It's still
No.
a challenge. We like all the races we do. Nothing sticks out like, oh, we really didn't like that one.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just some are more difficult than others.
Have you got one specific memory that's your favourite memory, I suppose, from running? Is there any?
It has to be the Ward City Marathon, our favourite.
Yeah,
our
probably
first
up in
marathon.
Derry, the first marathon we did in May.
I think
Was it
that's
May?
the
It was
first,
2015,
Yeah, May.
Derry.
the first race we really did
Yeah.
sort of train half decent for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
we managed to get some good
Yeah.
training in for that, and it was just the whole atmosphere, the day. We got rain, we got a bit of hail, we got sun. It was just to finish, you can never get that back. Everybody, you know, the first marathon, you
Yeah.
can never get that back. And just to have finished that and be driving home and saying, we've done a marathon. And I can remember thinking back when we got the chair and when we were getting the chair and thinking, I wonder if we could build up to like maybe even a 10k.
Yeah.
You know, and marathons never entered our head. Even the Team Kerr thing never entered our head. That's sort of grown organically. It's just to finish your first marathon, I think, and get that medal, and you know, no matter what, whether we never thought. Actually, I think driving home, we thought, would we do another one? But you probably thinking, there's no way I could do that again. And then I think 3 weeks later we did Waterford.
Yeah.
We booked in and did Waterford.
3 weeks
so,
later.
Yeah. So the bug had well and truly bitten by that stage, you know. So, but no,
It's quite an amazing journey, though, isn't it? When you
Yeah.
go to do your first marathon, you never anticipate that's where you're going to end up. For me, I was just running. I needed to get a bit of fitness, so I was trying to run a 2.4 mile loop, and I was running from lamppost to lamppost, and that was in 2011, just to try and lose a bit of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look where you actually come to. And it's very difficult to tell people in their first marathon, do you know
It's
what?
impossible.
Try and let go of the nerves and let go of the anxiety that comes with it, and really just relax and enjoy that race, like, because
Yeah.
this will only happen once in your life, your first marathon.
That's right.
And it's such an amazing. I think my first marathon, it took me 6 hours 14 minutes, believe it or not,
Right.
and it was my most humbling experience I ever had,
Yeah.
because I talked to so many people, had so many different stories.
Yeah.
I think I sobbed halfway around it, to be honest. Like,
That's known. I don't think you'd be the first or the last to do that. No, it's definitely. But we get a lot of people would come up. It's fantastic. I don't know what it is about the marathon distance. People will come up and they'll open up, and you know, we'll be trotting along, and they'll come and they'll maybe run with us for 2 or 3 minutes, and they'll talk and chat and say stuff that, you know, you wouldn't just meet somebody in the street and talk about.
Well,
And
they say, oh, I saw you at so and so.
yeah, I saw you at this and that, or they have somebody in their family with a disability and it resonates with them, and that type of thing. We've had guys who've run with us, as I say, who've joined us for a run, who turn up for a crew, and these are guys that have run marathons in 3.5 hour guys, and they'll come out with us and maybe be out for 5.5 hours or so, and they've come up to us afterwards, and they've said that it's been, you know, one of their most enjoyable marathons, because they've actually got their head up and they've been looking about and they've been chatting with people and enjoying the experience rather than head down and straight on. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, and fair play. Everybody who does that, I have the utmost respect for, you know, people who are going for times. That isn't what we do. We're out there, one, primarily for this guy, to get him out and get the experiences, but also from what we've found through where we've come with what we've done, is to let other families know that are in similar situations to ourselves, that you can do these things, you can get out and about. It doesn't have to be a marathon, it can be any distance, but you can be out and experiencing things and being involved in the community and playing playing a role in the community, you know, and that's become more important as the time has gone on to us,
Yeah.
to be in touch with other families and get other families involved and be out and about.
So you're very infectious, as you said. You've never had a sport crew, but you always end up with a sport crew, and people sort of
Yeah.
want to run with you. So you give a lot of energy out to people, and people love to see team care. I remember I was doing the pacer in Uri, and you had a huge crowd. That was a real sunny 2 years
That was
ago.
a beautiful day.
That was a-
yeah.
yeah.
Such a
that was
crowd
that
and
was-
such a day, and I was.
That's probably, that sticks
That was
out in the
a-
memory that day as well.
That was a tough one though because of the heat.
Oh, the
It
heat
was
was
heat,
really
yeah.
hard.
Coming back in on the
towpath.
towpath,
Yeah.
just to see with people in ditches. You just go around the corner and there was legs sticking out and people were trying to get water on board.
We
It was
felt dehydrated. We were
Yeah,
feeling a bit
that was
dizzy
our-
on it, and
we-
that was tough.
that was our third in 3 weeks. We'd done Portumna Marathon, Forest Marathon, and something else.
Was it Derry before or after that one?
I'm not sure. I think it was Derry. It was Derry actually because they had the water cannons out that
Oh,
year
yeah.
because it was the heat as well.
Brilliant.
You wouldn't think so looking out the window today about heating in this country, but yeah, we'd done 3 in 3 weeks, and Newry was the third one, and it was a toughie. But it was great. The crew was fantastic that day.
So is there anybody then, like you inspire so many people, is there anybody that you meet or you just, certain people just give you energy every single time you see them? One person I can think of is Jared Rowe. Every time you see him, he's like, yeah, come on guys, high five and clap, and you just see the smile on his face.
Yeah.
I love taking photographs of him because every time you just capture that energy that he's
Yeah.
got.
The support does make a big difference. I
Support
think,
is
to
huge to us. Yeah. it
Is there,
does.
is there any one person or that sort of sticks out in your mind?
Well, for us, it,
It has to be Jared.
yeah, it was yeah, definitely. You mentioned earlier Jerry Ford. I mean, Jerry is just a phenomenal athlete.
He's an absolute legend.
he
I'm not
is.
sure exactly how many marathons he's done,
Yeah.
but it's over 400.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
the
all over.
word inspiration and legend get banded about in this social media world we live in nowadays, but Jerry Ford in our eyes is a proper legend. I mean, and if we're coming around a corner and we see Jerry,
Wow.
heads go up,
Yeah.
you know, there's a wee bit of energy goes into the legs and stuff, and we have had such crack with Jerry on it because it's funny because we would get past Jerry, not all the time, on the hills going up, and then Jerry will just whiz past us on the way down, and all you'll hear coming up behind is beep beep, and that's Jerry, and away he goes, and we'll for a bit, we'll backwards and forwards each other on the course, and we'll pass each other, and it's great. That's great to see. But we understand to a certain point how much effort it requires to get to the start line for people, you know, with disabilities, and the effort that requires. And that's phenomenal what Jerry does. It's absolutely phenomenal. You know, sometimes we've often said it, the marathon is the easy bit. It's sometimes getting to the start line for us can be the difficult part. You know, the bit in between is the enjoyable bit. You know, because when we're carers up until that point, and then when you finish, you don't just jump in the car and drive home. There's personal care and bits and pieces and all that have to be taken care of and things. So, you know, we understand how difficult that can be. So,
Yeah, I actually met Jerry, and never know his name,
yeah.
in Clonakilty Hotel, and I came over to tell him, I met you going up that hill, and he was so humble and modest. He went, "Oh, I had the easy bit. I could freewheel all the way down the hill. Do you know what I mean? You had to run downhill. I got a rest going down. Like you had a bigger struggle than I did." And I was like, "Absolutely not. Like that guy is amazing."
That's
you know,
Jerry
so.
all
Strong, not only physically but mentally.
Mentally, yeah,
So-
definitely.
So 2014, you started running. So how have you found? What has that brought to Aaron?
Well, I wish I could just give you a quick snapshot of Aaron before running and after and now, because Aaron socially it was quite difficult, wasn't it, for Aaron?
We're talking about you again, aren't
Absolutely,
we? Huh?
nothing you haven't heard before.
No?
You know, in school, to give a quick example, Aaron found social situations quite difficult. In school, he couldn't.
Like
Assembly would be quite difficult for Aaron. You know, he would find it difficult to go in. He would maybe stay in the classroom while the other kids would go into assembly and things. He would find social gatherings very awkward and difficult. Going to the shops could be quite stressful.
Aaron still doesn't like the shops, do you?
Well, he's
not a shopper.
he's sort of.
I don't like the shops.
Yeah, he takes after his dad in that respect, but.
Yeah.
Straight in, get a few things,
Yeah.
maybe go in the cafe and that's
Yeah. We the bribe of a quick stop in the cafe sometimes works, but it's Aaron's confidence has soared He just loves being out and about in the chair. Being off the road last year was the hardest thing for us because he just points at the pictures constantly to be out, and having the chair break and have to go through what we did last year was incredibly difficult. So to get him back out again now and in a chair which is higher, so he can be up and he can interact more, he's not down low, that was really important to us. It's just great. He's coming back to himself, you know, and hopefully we'll get a bit. We've a lot planned for this year, so we'll get out if everything goes well and Aaron's health keeps playing ball. We'll get out and get him out and get that confidence growing even more.
Saying good luck at the start of races, don't you, Aaron, to everyone?
Yeah.
A lot of people come over and shake hands with Aaron, and Aaron's saying good luck, aren't you?
So you have Aaron's Army on your top.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit on how that started, or
Yeah, that's
what it's about?
Aaron's Army is Aaron's
Gentle.
official charity, isn't it, Aaron? Named
Yeah.
after you.
Well, we saw what it was, or we felt what we got from it, because having a child, a young person with let go, mummy, Sarah, lovely.
Steady, darling.
Having a young person with complex needs, it can be very isolating for families, especially if you have no other family. I mean, it's myself and Sandra. I mean, our daughter Holly. Her daughter, she lives in England now. If you haven't any other family, any support, it can be very isolating. And we found that getting out and running, what it did for us, was huge. You know, I can't even put it into words really, the difference it made in our lives. So we felt that we'd got ourselves into a position where we might be able to, you know, raise a few pound, not just awareness, but raise a few pound, and then we could use that money to buy joggers to get other families out and about and experience it, because it's not even as I say about doing marathons and stuff. Even if you wanted to go down the shops and get a pint of milk or something in a chair like this on a day like this, you can't do it because you can't get rain covers for this. It's a 2-hour exercise to go 5 minutes down the road. So these joggers come with rain covers, so people can just get out and go out with their families. They can go down to the beach, they can go down to towpaths, which are inaccessible to chairs like this. So it was to try and just let a few families experience that, and put a little back, because we get so much from people. You know, the support has been phenomenal, and people have really gotten behind us, and we do appreciate that. And it's just our, you know, as I say, we're just a working class family. You know, it's our way of giving something back.
Yeah.
So we think we've got 11 joggers out now to families. There's one sits at Wallace Park Run every week, so families can come along and experience, you know, the walk or the run. It doesn't have to be running. It's just getting out. It's the social aspect more than anything. It's just getting out from those four walls and relieving that isolation, which is important to us. So, which is why we're trying to do it. We became a registered charity last year, and we're 100% non-profit. Every penny goes back into it. So we're growing it slowly. It's a very small charity. You know, we're not claiming any big things, are we? We're just trying to do our little bit.
But you come to a point in running where you get so much from it.
Yeah.
You almost feel the need to give something back into it, isn't it? Like, and it seems to be that's the path that you.
We've had a lot of good people help us along
We've
the way.
You know, and it's just. It is really, it is humbling. You know, people say some lovely things. We just run with our son. That's the way we look at it. And people say some very humbling things, and it's nice to be able to give a little back, even if it is only a little. But it's our way of doing it, you know.
So 2018, here we go again.
We're back on the road.
We're back on the road.
Back on the road.
Yeah. It's not the retirement tour just yet.
You've got a new chair. Have you got any?
Well, it's a big year for us this year because Aaron's 21
Yeah,
this year.
21 this year.
21.
Aren't you, Aaron?
Yeah, the big 2-1.
Yeah.
24th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah, it's all happening.
It's all happening this
It's
year.
all happening this year.
So what big event have you got?
For Aaron's birthday.
Yeah.
We've
Well,
booked in for.
yeah, we were hoping to put on our own marathon for Aaron's birthday. We had sort of a few ideas around that, but unfortunately that didn't work out. So we're heading up to Donegal for the inaugural
McGee.
Wild Atlantic Way.
It looks absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. The
It certainly
pictures,
does.
you just want, it just draws you to that wild wilderness.
It
It
just
does,
looks beautiful,
yeah.
the scenery, and we wanted to run and done
Yeah,
for
when
a
we're
while.
trying to knock all the counties off, Sandy has a map somewhere in the house that she colours in, and I think we
I
have
think it's 10 or 11
10 or
more
11
that we've
left.
got left.
Every runner needs a sounder by the sounds of it.
Yeah, she's right. We do. We definitely need Mummy. We'd turn up without our runners if Mummy wasn't there.
There's a lot of planning behind
Yeah.
the scenes going on, isn't there?
And that race is in June, is it? Or
July. Yeah.
It's a few days after Aaron's birthday.
Aaron's on
Oh,
his
perfect.
Thursday, and it's on the weekend. So yeah, so we have that for this year, which is huge for us. We have a few bits planned. We're Belfast Marathon. We've a bone to pick with Belfast Marathon. It's the only marathon we've had to pull out of. Last year we got 4 punctures in 3 miles.
No.
Or three punctures in 4 miles. I can't remember, but it was just, and we just had issues with that. Was Aaron's old chair again, so we had another issue with it.
To pull out of a marathon when
It wasn't us. We were feeling
technical
for.
issue with the chair,
Yeah.
and actually us is frustrating because we could have gone on to do the marathon, but
Yeah,
it was the chair.
it was the chair that let us down. We had to pull out at mile 6, which was frustrating, and we were all dressed as Smurfs that day. So, but we have a claim to fame because I was Papa Smurf, you were Smurfette, and Aaron was just, I don't know, a regular Smurf. And I don't think 3 Smurfs have ever changed a wheel at the side on the Sydenham bypass by Belfast City Airport. I think that we nearly caused a multiple pile-up with
We had buses tooting, taxis looking
it was, so we were disappointed. So we have a bone to pick with Belfast this year, so we're back to do Belfast, which we're looking forward to immensely. We have Kildare. We're down to Kildare to the Thoroughbred again, who helped us to get back on the road last year by supporting us through their event, and we went down with Aaron's day chair and did 5k last year. We're really looking forward to going back to do the marathon there on Father's Day in June, and then we have the Energia 12 hour.
Yeah, that's the big
Big challenge, yeah. So we've never gone beyond 26 miles.
We have slightly.
Well, slightly, on courses which haven't been exactly measured as they should. But we've never intentionally gone, shall we say.
What date's that on? That's on June, is it?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the 23rd.
23rd of June.
I wish you hadn't mentioned that. I can feel a draw towards
Oh,
that
can you?
myself.
Well, you better be quick. I think entries are going. So yeah, the 12 hour and the 24 hour and
It's going to be an amazing event, I think.
Yeah, well, we were down last year at the at it when they had the it was the international, wasn't it?
One,
Yeah, and we were supporting. We went down. I think we went down 3 times in total to support. And it's just, the atmosphere is just incredible around it. They have the tents and everything else. And this year, I know they're not running the international side of it, but they are having runners come from all over to it. We're just looking forward to the experience. I mean, whether we get to 6 miles, or sorry, 6 miles, we get past 6 miles, 6 hours, 30 minutes, or we do 8 hours, or we do the full 12, we're just going to see what we can do. Because obviously we have, it's not just the running aspect. Aaron, we have Aaron's personal care, Aaron, medication. Aaron has to have, because Aaron had a kidney transplant, he has to have 2.5 litres a day, fluids. So we have to make sure of that.
Stop to get his legs stretched.
Yeah, stop to get his legs stretched. So we have all those things to do. But again, it's not something we haven't just gone and we fancy that. We have a plan in place. We know that we can do, but we need a lot of things to come together on the day to make it happen. From our point of view,
That's another thing. Because we're always a team, we only run together. We don't run on our own. If one's out, we're all out.
Yeah.
So we all have to be well on the day.
Yeah.
And sometimes David's not feeling it, or I'm not feeling it, or Aaron. So
And it's
we all have to be.
Yeah, we all
on
have
the
to be
day.
hitting it on the day, and you know yourself, you can go out for a run and maybe
Yeah.
only hit the run once every 6 or 7 runs. You can feel it, so we have to treble that.
It's not often we all feel good at the
No,
same time.
it's definitely
you found
not.
that?
No.
Yeah,
There's been a few domestics out en route.
Had a few
It's like in our house, one of them's got the cold. I'm sort of
Yeah.
trying to stay away, but
Yeah.
these
You
guys
can't
are
do
going
that
out
on this
together.
house,
So
yeah, we have to.
We had one race where we felt really good, thought we can really push
we
it.
were really, and the course just suited us down to the
Yeah.
T. It was just perfect, but we couldn't because we had
There was a couple of people running
couple
with
of
us.
people
that
running
weren't
with us, and
feeling
they
it.
weren't feeling it, and we sort of felt like, well, no.
If you start together, you finish
Yeah,
together.
that's very much our
Yeah.
basis. We if we start and people start with us, then because equally so people have pulled us through when we've been struggling, so we know what it's like. So we would never. So yeah, and that isn't us. It's about starting together and finishing together for us. Times really, it's everybody loves to get a good time, and I have the utmost respect for people who run for times. I really do. It just isn't what we're about. You know,
Mm.
like we say, if we go out on a Saturday, we're looking at a sub Saturday. That'll do for us as long as we finish.
So, 2014, you started off trying to build to half a marathon, and what I've heard there is just a beautiful story of how that momentum has just built and brought so much to Team Kerr as a group and to a family, and you can see how much it's brought to Aaron. I think it's a credit to you all. Thank you very much for welcoming me into your home today.
No problem, thank you.
It's such
Thanks.
a pleasure.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. And while we're all just on the camera, from the three of us to say to whoever listens in, Aaron's ready to go. Just to say thank you so much to everybody who has given us a handshake, supported, donated to Aaron's Army, helped us get back on the road. You know, we couldn't, you know, we can go out and run, but we really couldn't do what we do without the help and support we've had over the last 3 years, and that really does mean a lot to us. So thank you to anybody who's watching or listening to this.
So thanks for being the very first inspirational runner on the blog post. I wasn't sure how this was going to go at all, but I'm actually so looking forward to the next one after this. It's such an easy thing just to come and listen to people, and it really, I want to go out for a run for some reason.
Well, we can get the chair out. We can find a hill, Rob. It's not a problem.
No,
we can go up and do Naka. We can go back to Naka and show you. It's no problem.
One thing I'd like to take a look at is just your medals there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Go look at your medals.
Go look at your medals, lovely.
Go look at your medals.
Go on, you.
Now that is impressive.
Well, these are our marathon medals here, and that's everything else.
Oh, look at all your medals. Look.
This is the one you got 2 days ago.
Yes.
I think that must be the biggest marathon medal.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. I'll shake hands. You leave Robbie alone.
Look at your medals. Look.
So yeah, that's all. That's our Aaron's Army medal as well, which is probably our favourite.
Look at your bling bling.
Which people very kindly did all virtual runs
Beautiful.
for. So yeah, and our own Team Kerr medal for our challenge, which unfortunately we had to postpone because of our chair breaking, but
That will come back round.
that will be. Oh, it'll definitely be back round. We want to make sure we have 100%.
So keep an eye out for that, guys. Who wouldn't want one of those on their medal racks? Absolutely beautiful.
So it's in sections. The left-hand side is marathon medals. We've got it in some sort of order now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our first. That's
Wow.
our first Wall City Marathon.
So Dublin, you need to sort it out. To be honest, when you look at Derry's medal, their famous medal,
Yeah.
like
Some
so.
beautiful medals.
Some
there.
lovely medals, yeah.
Yuri as well, like
Oh
so.
yeah, and Yuri's in there.
Eddie
We're back down
Murphy.
for the half soon.
I'm
Eddie
sure-
Murphy, that's a
That was a
20.
great one.
Yeah, that was a great run. It doesn't sound a great run, but it was probably is one of our top 5. It's looped miles.
I'm sure
one,
that's.
1 mile loop.
I'm sure that's not
It's a hill and
the Eddie Murphy like coming
It's
to
not the
America.
Eddie Murphy. No, it's not. It's not. If it is, he wasn't there on the day, but no, it's not. So yeah, that's for all those.
It's beautiful then. Alright guys, so I don't know if we can see this or not, but
Say goodbye, Aaron.
Oh, jump in.
we're going to say goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much for the first blog post for the Inspirational Runner. Appreciate it.
We have to
Thank you.
shake hands, Robin.
Everybody's
Everyone will know what that means. It's shake hands with Aaron.